Hey there, StarCraft fans! It's Falcon Paladin coming at you with yet another edition of StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void. And today it's going to be a match between soO and Zest here on King's Cove, the Ladder Edition. These two players have been playing a lot the last two tournaments. I feel like they know each other very well, so this should be an excellent game. Top left-hand corner, we have the Red Zerg player, soO. And in the bottom right-hand corner, it is the blue Protoss player, Zest. All right, man, OG Zest here versus soO. Zest is just a very patient, very, how do I want to explain it? This, a defensive Protoss player. He is not all in. He's very much interested in not engaging unless he's absolutely going to win an engagement, which everybody should do, honestly. If you're trying to get in, into engagements you can't win, don't do that. Stop doing that. But Zest is just, he will float around these three bases, take a fourth base, go for a fifth base. Like, I'm expecting to see a lot of bases here out of Zest. At least in the games that I've cast of his. It seems to be that is definitely the case. Now, it's a one-gate expander Rooney. Out of Zest, soO going for the hatch gas pool play. Nothing too crazy from him. There's the gas, and there's the pool at 17 supply. And everything lines up real nicely to get 3 workers on gas and then fully saturate your main hatchery again, and then you can get 2 queens and speed and start saturating your natural. It's just a nice flow is what it is. It's 18 gas. It is a, well, sorry, no. It is a 16 hatch, 18 gas, 17 pool is the build. It's good against Terran, and it is also good against Protoss. It's a little too greedy, I think, maybe against Zerg for the most part, especially if you're playing in the, Platinum Diamond Leagues, which you probably are, statistically. It's where most people live on the ladder. Don't do that for Zerg. There are other builds that you want to do otherwise. We can talk about those some other time, but 12 pool opening to be aggressive is not bad as long as you follow that up with a lot of macro. Just a thought. Again, ZVZ, there is no set. I don't know if there's a set meta with that or a set build order, just because there are a few different things you can do that are all pretty viable, especially at the lower levels. Send me a message, says soO. I don't know what that's all about. Probe scouting in, nothing to worry about here. Does not see a quick baneling nest. Doesn't see a really fast Roach Warren. Doesn't see a lair that would indicate maybe there's Nidus play coming in. So great scout there from Zest. Overlord comes in, sees the same thing over on Zest's side of the field. soO's not worried about anything nuts coming towards his way either. He's going to see the Overlord come out. Or the Overlord. The Adept come out. The Adept versus the Overlord. Yeah, these Lings are not going to be able to kill this probe because the Adept will save her. And they know that, so they're going to pull back. Overlord scouting around trying to see if there's anything else. And there's your third base at about 240, 230 or so. After you've saturated your natural base to some extent. I don't think there is a set way to do that. We've seen different players handle that differently. But Adept running around trying to find those Lings. Can't do it because the Lings went home because they don't have speed. Speed's definitely on the way though, which is nice. Additional Queen coming in here at the natural base. Main base just happily churning all the resources out. Did pull 2 workers off gas, which indicates, again, we're not going for anything aggressive. This is extremely macro opening out of soO here. I mean, if you don't have that much gas, you really can't go for much of anything. Puts it on back a little bit there. Just 1 more worker on the gas, goes for a lair. Third base coming up. We've got a queen ready to go for that third base as necessary. No more queens in production. Dark Templar Shrine on the way here from Zest. He's also got himself a robotics facility and a Twilight Council, which indicates, well, obviously it's the Twilight for the Dark Shrine, but obviously this is going to be some kind of an Archon drop, or it could just be DTs, right? It's just warping in DTs around here and running them into the natural base is pretty good too. About 4 minutes, you want to start making your spores. I mean, this is all stuff we've talked about before, but it's good to have this kind of drilled into your head, and repetition is not bad when it comes to learning things. Roach Warren coming in. Really do want roaches to handle Archons or DTs. DTs can get handled by anything as long as you have detection. You can trade pretty well with those guys. I mean, they don't hit all that. Okay, they hit hard, but they hit slow. And they don't have a lot of HP and they die fast. It's just the permacloak is the trade-off there. So we're at 4-15. I'm not seeing any spores coming up here from soO, and I'm worried about that. Alright, so here come the DTs. Does he change them into the Archons is the question. No, he's just going. He's just going. My gosh. At least there's an Overseer. Okay. So Overseer up. He sees the DTs coming in. This Adept's shading in. Oh, 2 Adepts shading into the natural base, trying to get some stuff done. DT's coming into the third base. The first Roaches have started to pop at pretty much the perfect time here. So they have to pick up and get out of there. The main base doesn't have anything in it defending there either. It's really annoying for the War Prism to do this kind of stuff. The Adepts both end up dead there in the natural base. I'm not sure if they kill many drones at all. Do we not have the game heart turned on? I'm not sure that we do. The queen does go down. I need the queens to be hacking away at that warp prism, if nothing else. And look, he's just going to unload back down here, too. So this is some really nice warp prism harass. Overseer, not quite fast enough to keep up with this at the moment. Overseer's speed would be nice. It's just the Overlord speed upgrade you get at the lair. As soon as you get these bikes, this needs to go back to work now. There we go. Ling's here at the third base trying to shut it down. You know what? Doing all right. Taking out a Stalker, taking out a Probe, and then the Adepts show up, and it's time to go home. So decent attempt there, but yeah, 10 drones down. How many DTs died? Let's take a look at that real fast. No DTs went down. Holy smokes, Zest. Nice protection there, honestly, on those dudes. Oh, I guess there are 3 in the Warp Prism. Fair enough. Fair enough indeed. Immortal. Coming on in, because you want Immortals versus Zerg, regardless of what they're doing. Honestly, if you have Immortals, you're going to have a good time. Never skip Immortal. Spire on the way from soO, which you don't see a lot of Spire at the 5-minute mark versus Protoss because, well, Archons are really good and Phoenix are really good. And I guess if your opponent doesn't go for Phoenix, then you might just be okay. We've seen that before. We've seen games entirely lost. Oh, Mage, I guess, was lagging. Who knows? The Archon harass is pretty good here out of Zest. He's playing pretty aggressively and pretty darn well in this game. Really annoying stuff. The damage is starting to stack up on these Archons, though. However, there's nobody in the main. soO needs to do a better job splitting his units. Kind of having some in the main base and some in the third base and some in the natural, because this is really frustrating stuff. Oh gosh, the drones are stacked up, but the Archons couldn't follow through. That was too much of a narrow opening for them to get through. Alright, so yeah. Warp Prism at this point is really low on HP, and I'm not sure... Yeah, that's a recall situation right there. Can it actually get home? Yes, it can. So not bad. Not bad in the end of the thing. 17 drones killed in the first 6 minutes is really good. The problem is there are 6 Mutalisks on the way, and Zest does not have a Stargate. So, yeah, that is a problem. We've seen this. Again, I was trying to say this a couple minutes ago, but we have seen a Protoss just straight up die because, well, didn't make a Stargate and didn't see the Spire and didn't know that there were Mutalisks on the way. That's an interesting place to put a Spire. Zest does not know it exists, by the way. He is not getting cannons. He is not making Stalkers. He's getting shield batteries up, which is nice, but these Mutalisks are going to cause major heartache and major problems. It's not mass Mutalisk. He is going for a Roach Ravager follow-up here, but he's hoping to kill some stuff. Something scouted these Mutas, because those Stalkers are patrolling, and the Archons are chasing inside that War Prism. So this is... Oh, good hits. Good hits, and now it is soO's turn to be the annoying one. Picking off probes here and there. We don't have Game Heart. Why don't we have Game Heart, guys? Ah, it's frustrating. Alright, so the Mutas can't get a lot of done there. Just a few Stalkers defending. And nice control with the Warp Prism and the Archons to defend against those guys, too. They do have tissue regeneration, which means they'll heal up quite nicely here, but it's not going to be mass Muta by any stretch. It is Roaches, it is Ravagers, third base. soO finally saturating his third, which means it's time for a fourth, for sure, without question. But I don't know if he's going to be able to get there here. Zest, he's on 3 bases. The Muta's trying to dart in again, but once again, the Stalkers are ready to rock. Cannons are coming up. Shield battery with cannons are here, which is even more important. These Adepts die. And they do see the number of Roaches present. So you don't want to go crazy at this point. If you're Zest, you don't want to go Phoenix to deal with these Mutas, because you don't need them. You can handle this many Mutalisks with what you got, for the most part. It's the mass Mutalisk that you want to watch out for. So, saw the number of Roaches and Ravagers and said, okay, we'll just continue with Stalker production. We'll keep getting Immortals. Immortal count is insanely huge, and it's time to go from Zest. The follow-up push is real, ladies and gentlemen. It's 98 to 66 army supply. soO has the lead, but the composition here, the number of Immortals and Sentries present is pretty good. That said, if these were Ravagers, there we go. Additional Ravagers on the way from soO. Corrosive Bile does handle this whole weird Immortal Sentry push, which is effectively what this is, strangely enough. There's 2 Archons in the mix, which is fine. Trying to take down this 4th base, if at all possible. Not entirely sure if you're going to be able to, man. So coming on up, jumping in there, Corrosive Biles, landing on those force fields. Force fields are getting whittled down here. Roach is trapped inside the force field, though. Getting wrecked. This is a really big Protoss army. soO, again, has the bigger army according to supply, but the Immortals are really scary. The Mutas are trying to engage here. The base does end up getting sniped, and we're back down to a 3 base economy. That's continuing to push in here. soO trying to hold the high ground, if at all possible. These Immortals, 7 kills, 7 kills, 7 kills. Do they all have 7 kills? How? Wow, triple 7s on those Immortals. That's insane. Mutalisks, no. No, not against that many Blink Stalkers, especially if they have +1 attack. Do they have Blink? Of course they do. Of course they have Blink. And yeah, just blinking out of those Corrosive Biles. Again, it's... If there's somewhere to go, a professional player will absolutely dodge out of Corrosive Biles. I don't think they're good enough here. More Lings coming in, more Roaches coming into. The Immortals are refusing to die. As I say, that one goes down. And that one goes down. That's kind of a big deal. Backing into the corner here. soO's trying to take this thing. Mutalisk trying to shut down the 4th Nexus at the same time. soO needs to win this battle. And he's going to kill every single Immortal. And I think he can handle the rest of it here. These Stalkers are going to trade extremely poorly versus the Ravagers and any Roaches that happen to exist here. Ling's coming in to make the attack there too. 13 kills on that Archon in the mix. But yeah, 4th base coming up for soO, but 4th base coming up for Zest at the same time. So this Protoss player is ahead mega big time right now. And going home. He feels like I did enough damage. soO is double expanding, which is nice. He's going into more Mutalisks, which I kind of honestly appreciate from him at this point. Because Zest has refused to respect the Muta. He hasn't gone for a Stargate. He's going for a Templar Archives here. I guess he wants to get Storm, which I'm totally down with. You can get Storm if and you want to. No complaints from me. And yeah, soO just trying to remac her up here, making drones. He's up at a 64 to 69 total workers. Zest coming in again just with a large Stalker Sentry army, which is actually pretty darn good against Mutalisks. Sentry DPS against Mutas is not bad as long as they can stay alive. They're just real squishy. Changelings see what we're dealing with here. And a Sentry Stalker army composition with a ton of Archons coming in. Zest is not going to wait for Storm at this stage of the game. The Muta's trying to dart on into the natural base where there are 2 cannons and a shield battery. How many of these Mutas will die is the question of the day. They're darting into the main base where 2 cannons and a shield battery also happen to exist. So I guess they go after the shield battery first, losing 1 Mutalisk. Ah, they didn't even get the shield battery. They didn't even get the shield battery. What are you doing with these Mutas, man? You got to commit. Trying to take down the gas income, which is pretty good in range of one of the cannons, though, which is not good. Assimilator goes down. Stalkers get some shots off. Mutas do have some dead airspace to run around back behind the 3rd and call it good. Again, this is keeping Zest at home. Zest does not want to stay at home. He wants to push out and try to kill stuff. The longer soO can be allowed to sit here and saturate his 4th base, the better it's going to be for him. Although Zest has saturated his 4th because he's a good Zerg player. Good Protoss player. Without question. And ready? Set. Here we go. Tacking on in. We got Stalkers. We got Los. Are these? Those are Speedlings. Yeah. He's got speed. For a second there, they just look slow. One Immortal joining the party here. That's a lot of Archons. 124 to 125. And at this point where Zest has the army supply in equal to soO's, that is bad for soO. He needs a bigger army supply. He is making 32 Zerglings. The Mutalisks are wrecking Zest's 4th base. That's a lot of dead probes, man. Zest needs to make something happen now. Here we go. Force fielding everybody out of there. Zealots wrecking the 4th base. The Nexus, or the hatch actually goes down there. The Banelings are not going to explode on top of those. They're going to do it. They're exploding on these Archons. It takes so many Banelings to kill an Archon. The force fields are insane right now. The Ravagers have to waste their Corrosive Biles on force fields. They don't want to be doing that. And that's going to be a lot of wasted Banelings on those Stalkers. Sure, you might get them, but in the end, that is not a good trade for you. 4th base done for Zest, but the army supply continuing to push up. This is a really good game. Really good game here. Stalkers tacking on in. Roaches just going to pieces here. Stutter stepping forward is Zest, and I think that's going to be it. Army supply is 51 for soO, but how many of these are the Mutalisks that aren't going to be that great against this Stalker-Archon combination? And that's your good game. Zest does take game number 1 in our sneaky twofer between these 2 players. That's right. That's what I'm talking about. It is absolutely going to be a sneaky twofer because, boy, we have a couple good games from these players. All right, man. Zest wins game number 1. Whew. That was a lot of fun. Man, I like ZVP. I like ZVP so very much. All right, so 23,000 resources lost for soO, 16,000 from Zest. 52 drones down is a lot. 34 probes killed is a lot, too. But 2 hatcheries killed is a huge deal. 83 Roaches, 8 Ravagers, 22 Banelings, 9 Mutalisks down. 5 Immortals killed is a lot. 7 Archons down as well. 18 Zealots, 26 Stalkers, 2 Warp Prisms did get picked off, and 12 Sentries. So both players taking their lumps there. But in the end, Zest was just able to keep soO on 4 bases for quite some time, snipe off a couple hatcheries in the meantime, and even though he ended up losing his 4th, he just had the bigger army. The force fields were absolutely immaculate. The upgrades were good here too. +2 attack was done. Meanwhile, no attack upgrades for the Roaches and Ravagers at all, and no armor upgrades either. Just +1 for the Lings and the Banelings, which weren't that good in this situation. Too many Archons. The Banelings exploding on Archons was really bad. The Stalkers also taking Baneling hits was totally fine with them too, as long as the Zealots stayed alive, as long as they needed to. 9 kill Immortal there, 16 kill Archon, and a 2 and a 0 kill Archon. These guys must be new. They must be new to the party. So GG for Zest. We'll see if soO can come back and win our next game of our sneaky twofer, but stick with it. We'll be right back. Game 2 of our sneaky twofer will be on New Repugnancy, the Ladder Edition. Bottom left-hand corner, soO. Top right-hand corner, Zest. All right. So Zest was more aggressive than I thought he would be in game number 1, which just goes to show StarCraft 2 is unpredictable. All right. So, I kind of feel like if soO went Mass Mutalisk, he would have done better. Roach Ravager doesn't stack up very well against Stalker, Immortal, Archon charge lot. And by the time he added on Banelings, it was a little bit too late. So, I don't know. Zest didn't respect the Mutalisks, and it paid off. Alright, so 1 gate expand here from Zest. Hatch gas pool here from soO. And, alright, so have you heard about the Falcon Paladin Hour? It is a weekly podcast featuring myself and Sumacron the Australian. We talk about a lot of different stuff. A lot of StarCraft, man. We talked about GSL versus the world. Talk about the upcoming nation wars. Sumacron has this incredible evil superpower where he can absolutely jinx the ever-loving crap out of somebody just by picking them to win a tournament. Or picking them to, like, even do well in a tournament. The people that he chose to do well at GSL versus the world, the 4 players he chose won a single game combined among them. It is crazy. I don't know it was possible. And he's choosing good players. This was like TY. This was Raynor. This was Maru. I forget who the other guy was. But yeah, none of them did anything. It was kind of insane. Like, if you tried to pick the players that would do nothing at GSL versus the world, I'm not sure you could do what he did. Anyway, just search Falcon Paladin in your podcast app, wherever it is, and you will find it. I keep pressing W because that allows you to get this thing Brood War. Hotkey confusion. It's a good time, guys, when you're casting 2 different games that are very similar. That stuff happens. Adept on the way. Games are extremely similar to each other at this point in the game. That's a quick third, though. soO went for the 3rd base at like 2 minutes, man. So, yikes. Did he delay his queen for that? I think he delayed his queens for that, you guys. That's crazy. All right, so he delayed his queens to go for a 3rd base about 40 seconds faster than he did in the last game. Which means the Adepts are on their way, which means, I mean, he doesn't have speed, nor is it on the way, and his queens are going to be late, and he is making some Zerglings here, but this Adept, I feel like, is going to get more damage done than it should, in all reality. So, all right, so queen pops out, stab, 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 enough to chase the Adept away. Gonna go ahead and shade on in and see what's going on inside the main base. And the answer is no queen. Oh, I don't know if you should have finished that transfer, Adept. Maybe you should have finished it. Could have got a couple drones. I mean, sure, you'd be dead, right? That's the big problem, is that you'd be dead, but you'd kill 3, maybe 4 drones there. Again, slow Lings fighting. The Adepts are like, hold on, was there not a queen up here? Or a lair? What is happening right now? Oh, they do finish the transfer, but then, oh, they have to recall out. One of the Adepts is gonna die. No, they both make it out. Are you kidding? Oh, 1 HP on that Adept. What is even happening right now? That was crazy. Yeah, so basically knew they were going to die, recalled out of there before doing much of anything. That is another robotics facility and Arc Shrine opening from Zest. If at first you don't succeed, try again. And if at first you do succeed, especially try again, is what Zest is believing here. You know I stream on Twitch, by the way, twitch.tv/Falcon Paladin. I am there several times a week doing StarCraft 2 stuff, doing StarCraft Carbot stuff in the StarCraft Brood War client, which is a ton of fun. Gonna be doing some Warcraft Classic as well, World of Warcraft Classic out there, and Warcraft 3 Remastered when that comes out, whenever that is this year, and it's just a good place to be. come give me a follow. It doesn't cost you anything, right? Just to follow, let you know when I'm going live, and we can all have a good time together. Come say hello. I read the chat. Just like the same thing. I read my comments on YouTube. I read the chat on Twitch. I'm loving this map vision that soO has. He's like, I'm not getting caught by surprise this game. I've got Lings running around trying to find where on earth this warp prism is. And I love this play, actually. What you do is you follow the warp prism. Is this sneaking? Okay, so got it. And then when the adepts unload, you just surround them and kill them. With the queen stabbing away at the warp prism the whole time. Are you going to do this? He's in warp mode, and here come the DTs. Alright, so that does force the Lings away. And the DTs, are they just going for it? I kind of feel like they are. Spore Crawler coming up at a better time this time for soO, so he has learned a bit of a lesson here. Lings finding these adepts and actually going to take them out. DTs fighting roaches and queens. One DT goes down. Roach goes down. Picking up, going in the main. The adepts dying was a bit of a problem here. No detection here. Really, there's an Overseer following. But again, the Overseer is slow. Sniping down queens is a big thing to do here. Just absolutely droning up pretty hard, though, all the way through this, which I love. He doesn't need a huge army to handle this. He just needs good positioning with his army. God, get a Spore in your main, man. You really can't just keep losing drones like this. Losing all that you did in the first game was really a major reason you lost it. Warp Prism down to 18 HP, which is going to make it hard to get back in there. You don't want to go into a Zerg base when you have 18 HP. I love the Hydralisk Den choice here out of soO. I love that his third base is saturated. I love that he has 63 workers to 45 probes at the moment. Only one drone died during that whole thing. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. And no queens. No queens went down either. A Roach and 10 Lings. That is a fair trade. Gotta say, soO's got to feel pretty good about that. Those Lings were effectively dead weight anyway. Archon's here to kill some creep tumors, transfusing the roaches. 7 more roaches in production here. Leave my tumors alone, says soO. I worked hard to grow those. Just focusing them down, though. Taking them shots, not a big deal. Yeah, so making roaches here to deal with it. But at the same time, that's truly trying to make Hydras happen here, too. He's got the Hydralisk Den. He's not getting upgrades. There we go. Groove Spine's on the way. A little bit late on that, but that's totally fine. And it's the third base. Third base on the way here from Zest. He's on the offensive. He knows that soO can't really move out and kill him at this stage. I guess enough Lings could take that, but there's a DT sitting there, which is kind of annoying. And just a little small army, small, compact, and really effective army. Adepts sneaking into the natural base, killing more drones. And the roaches are going to try to kill them before they can shade out. Got one. The other one shaded in the main. Oh, this Adept can't kill a queen. No, the Hydras say absolutely not. Not going to happen at all. Man, these Archons. 8 kills and 6 kills. I mean, some of those are creep tumors. I'm not sure they count as battle kills, if you know what I mean. soO needs to take a 4th, like now, if at all possible. Maybe make a counterattack out on and try to take down this third base of soO. He's got a big army supply. Hydras really want to take down the Warp Prism. Can't do it. Creep Spread is absolutely just in the toilet right now. soO is taking a 4th base top left, so he's looking better this game than he was in the last one, I gotta say. I do like the Hydras as a better choice in this situation. They're much better against Immortals than Roaches are. And really, the only thing that's great against Hydras is things like Storm and Disruptors and Splash damage. You need Splash if you're going to try to take down a big old Hydra ball, especially Hydraling Baneling. You need some kind of Splash to do that, because if you're just here with Stalkers and Sentries and Immortals, it's going to be a pretty bad time. Not going to lie. Warp Prism almost wandered into those Hydras, which was scary. Does he have muscular augments? He doesn't. He just got range. soO, where's your Hydra speed? It's easier to micro them if you have those. Anyway, Roaches coming in, which, again, won't trade well against the 4 Immortals that are already out at the 8-minute mark of the game. Oh, did the Warp Prism get sniped? The Warp Prism got sniped. Oh, all right. So pushing up. And the... Oh, gosh. Those force fields were good force fields here. Really holding this army back. Corrosive Biles trying to knock them down as best as they can. Trying to take down a pylon? Sure. That's cool, I guess. Doesn't depower or anything. Maybe tries to supply block Zest, but geez, these force fields. I don't even... Alright, now coming right on top of this. The Sentry's getting wrecked. The Immortals in a lot of trouble here, too. The Hydras need to get that DPS out. Immortals backing themselves into a corner. Shield Battery healing up one of them. Zealot's trying to get in this mix. The Immortals need to start dying, but they're not. The Immortals are refusing to die. Instead, racking up those kills. Where do the Hydras go? I don't know, but just backing the Immortals into the corner there. No Hydras remaining. Roaches and Ravagers left. Charge is now done for those charge lots. Finally, speed coming in for the Hydralisks. Slings and Roaches and Ravagers desperately being made time after time here. soO has not saturated his 4th base at all. And as a result, he's not going to have a nice income. He's going to try to kill soO now, or Zest now, but I don't know. Those look like some pretty bruised and injured Ravagers, if you ask me. Yeah, that was an attempt. The force fields were just, again, Zest has been practicing force fields nonstop for what, his entire life, probably? Yeah, is that fair to say? I don't know. Probably not. Because, again, StarCraft 2 is only about 10 years old, but for 10 years, maybe. I'm not sure actually how new to the game Zest is, but crikey. All right, so soO is saturating his 4th base. He hasn't lost that, which is nice. His army supply is bigger. Again, good for the Zerg player. 70 workers to 63 here in favor of the Zerg Protoss. Just doing what he did last game, really. I mean, it's just going to be Sentries, Immortals, Stalkers, and Zealots. Pushing on out. He's down 40 army supply to the Zerg, but he's got the right composition for it. This is not Hydraling Bane. Okay, there are some Banelings in here. The Roaches, I don't know. I just feel like Roaches are kind of dead weight in a situation like this. Just because the force fields can absolutely make them impotent. The Immortals can kill 7 of them, it feels like, before a single Immortal goes down. And here we go, trying to jump on this. Force fields say no. soO trying to poke around again. Waiting for the force fields to expire. Going in again, and force fields keeping those Banelings out. And soO has to retreat again. This is so frustrating for soO. He's hoping the sentries run out of energy at some point, but again, additional sentries coming in. Banelings getting all force fielded up there. Oh, these Banelings are not connecting on anything right now at all. Meanwhile, DT drop inside the main base. Takes down a queen. Stops all income inside the main base while all this is going on. And yeah, soO is just bleeding army right now. He's losing Hydras. He's losing Roaches. Trying to make 30 lings to get a surround on these Immortals, if at all possible. But the charge lots are absolutely eating those Zerglings in pieces here. DT does get cleaned up in the natural base. Changelings in the mix, trying to see what's going on in here. Army supply, again, still favoring soO. 68 to 58. 4th base coming up. Zest has a 4th base right there. There it is. 3rd base done. 4th base on the way. DT's at the front. No detection present. Absolutely no detection present. Banelings here trying to crash and get rid of those guys, I suppose. The Overseer does show up. Hydra's fighting in vain. Another tightly contested contest right now, which feels redundant. Hydra's trading out against Immortals, but the juggling is too good. Really just too good here. These Immortals are refusing to die. All of them are low on HP, but they all have so many kills among them. The juggling is nuts. Zest knows how to juggle a good Immortal. Army supply 42 to 27. The charge lots getting on top of the Hydralisks is not a good thing for the Hydras. They are glass cannons. They don't want to be hit by anything. 16 kills, 12 kills, 30 kills, and 11 kills on these Immortals. That is pretty good stuff, man. 30 kill Immortal. His 4th base going to go down, and Zest is on 4 bases, and I think that's it. Army supply is about half of the Zerg player. The Hydras are trying to fight in the situation. Not enough, and there's your good game. And Zest does end up going 2-0 in our sneaky 2 for today between Zest and soO. Boy, what a rough go of it, man. Just absolutely crazy expression and display of what Protoss can do here from Zest. Resources lost 20,000 to 13,000 in favor of the Protoss player. 33 Hydras down, 19 Banelings, 59 Roaches died, 6 Immortals. At the end of the day, there were still 6. Only half of them died, which is a pretty good ratio, 19 sentries. But yeah, 25 drones down is a big deal. Taking down that 4th hatch was a big deal. I was going to die here in a second anyway. And just overall, Zest, this time is so hard for Zerg players to deal with. And this is kind of one of the reasons that the Blizzard was looking at nerfing the charge for charge lots. They chose not to do it. They instead went ahead and decided to nerf Warp Prism pickup range. In addition to, what was the other thing they did? Warp Prism pickup range, I think, was the big thing. And something else. Can't remember. It's late. My brain is not helping me, but I'm sure you know what it is. Let me know in the comments. We'll talk about it. But yeah, at the end of the day, just not enough. Not enough Zerg here to deal with the Immortals and the Stalkers, and it was close, man. I mean, Zest's army is not big at this point, right? He's got a handful of Zealots, a couple Immortals, a couple Stalkers, a couple Archons. It's not like he just crushed here. He didn't roll over it, but he did enough to win, and that's what it's all about. So, good job by Zest getting that 2-0 win, and that's going to be it from me. So this has been Falcon Paladin coming at you with yet another edition of StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void. Something triggered my Google Assistant about that. I don't know. That was weird. All right, so you can find me on Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, and Patreon, all at /Falcon Paladin. Hit that like button and hit that subscribe too if you like what you saw and what you heard today. And until next time, as always, thank you so much for watching, and you take care of yourself.